All right, guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Um, gonna make another video because I think there's some information that I kind of forgot about the anima. Um, I'll just go ahead and put the stack back up here, and I have to remember to try to go a bit faster. And we've already established that this is the ENFP anima. We already know. Um, Kind of wanting to get a little bit deeper into the enema. I mentioned my experience with the moon. Um, basically about basically about it feeling like I was on a date with the moon, essentially. And yeah, it's pretty much what it felt like. I was on this celestial kind of otherworldly date. It literally felt like I mean, um, I mean, a long date with a crush felt like a date with a crush, um, like a like my prom date. I mean, these are kind of along the lines of the when I think back, along the lines of um, what I can words I can describe it with. Um, felt like a date. Felt like I was on like I was the homecoming king, the moon was the homecoming queen, and we shared this celestial moment, dance, whatever you want to call it, together. It's like it's almost for the first time in my life I felt like someone truly understood or what it's like for another human being. Well, human being, that's funny. Just for someone to truly understand and get me, or get NI, or NI, I'll say. Um, you INFJs out there, I mean, and most of you guys have this grounded, anchored NI, where we have the ground right here, and the flower, whatever you want to say, this is a flower, and your NI is basically like a balloon that is basically tied to the earth, and it can't take off. That is an example of NI that is still anchored. Or if you want to, instead of a bow tie, it could be an anchor. Put an anchor there. But essentially, this is like 99% of the NI I encounter on YouTube, social media, this. NI is anchored, anchored to the ground. So, but me on the other hand, my NI is up here. This is a hot air balloon once again. Like I said, this is what NI is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be tethered to anything. It's not supposed to be tethered to anything. I mean, anything. No INFJ was meant to have their NI sewn, tethered, tattooed to anything, any noun, any noun. Just wasn't meant to be. Just wasn't meant to be. This wasn't meant to be. So, what we have to understand, we have to get out of this, this SI mindset of, you know, there's supposed to be some part of you that's supposed to be tethered. Yeah, when the INFJ realizes it for themselves, not because SI told them to. If SI really knew what NI was, it would know. Just the sheer fact of opening its mouth, NI is not gonna do it. SI equals conformity. SI equals conformity. And I'm veering off topic, but we're going deep. So this is SI. NI is all about this. It does not want to be tied down or adhere to anything. It doesn't. It just doesn't. And that's just the truth. So, like I said, hence, no NI should be anchored to the external realm for any reason. For any reason. You were meant to fly. This is what your NI was meant to do. And don't let any other personality type tell you otherwise. Because that's just a joke. Yep. Your big brother and I said that is a joke. For another personality type to tell NI what it should be doing. It is a joke. Joke. In letters right here. Joke. So, yeah. I'll put it to you guys this way. And I am veering off tremendously, but I promise I'm gonna get back on track. Um, how about this guy? We know who this guy is, right? Yes, he's an INTJ. He's an INTJ. He's an NI-DOM, of course, as well. It's I just can't get over seeing him at this. I think he's trying to be some kind of. I'm paraphrasing, some kind of minister of solving something or some kind of committee or something. He's spearheading or going to be a part of because of Trump wanting him to. But it was just crazy how people were just like just abusing his TE, just question after question after question. Just you were only put here on Earth to appease to us with your TE and your NI. I mean, it's like And do I have to tell you what most of the audience was? I mean, do I have to? I mean, NI is eyes to blind SI. That's what NI is. And you heard it here first. You heard it here first. Like I said, I've never heard anyone say the past sentence that I just said. I've never heard it from anyone on YouTube. And it's the truth. That's the funny part. It's the truth. But you know what that tells me? People's channels are catered to this. Because let's face it, it's most of them that's checking out your channels, liking, subscribing, stuff like that. It's most of them. So, um, so back to what I was saying about, yeah, just this is like I said, it's the truth. Um, and like I said, no NI anywhere should be and following this under any circumstances. Well, I'll say you have the potential to be this with your NI. Every INFJ has the potential to be this. But how Elon solves the world's external problems, we would be the same thing Elon is, but with solving people's internal problems. This is who we're meant to be. People's deep rooted issues, such as this right here, with the INFJ, such as that. You INFJs out there, that you guys know what I'm talking about. Your deep rooted issues, deep inside. And I know how our FI is. I know how our FI is. So yeah, I'm I'm with you. But yeah, enough of this. I'm gonna get back to what I was originally trying to say. I veered off because I did not want this video to be a half an hour, but it might anyway. But yeah, back to the Anima. Um, yeah, it's just a beautiful thing to be fully integrated. I'm trying to think of other ways. I mean, you're pretty much you. I mean, you are pretty much everything. And I'm gonna write this down. Oh, that is a cool. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. That's cool. Um, when you integrate with your anima and ladies with your animus, you are one with yourself. You're one with you. You are one with you in every sense of the word. One. You're one with yourself. Pretty much anything internally that you will ever need from another human being, you are it to yourself. Let me repeat what I just said. Anything that you need from the opposite sex, like for in my case, a woman, anything internally you need from a woman, you are to yourself. This is essentially what happens when you awaken your anima fully, ladies with your animus. This is what happens. So, for lack of a better term, you will only need to be with a human for all external purposes only. that will essentially be the only thing you need a human for, as far as in a relationship. That's basically, that's it. That's it. You are completely in love with yourself, and yeah, and that's it. You're in love with you, in love with you. I mean, in every sense of the word. It's almost like, and I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you another thing. These guys, they, you see these arrows? Like I said, they strengthen. They strengthen. And now that I'm back, I'm gonna mention SE a little bit. I mentioned it on other videos. I mentioned a little bit about NEFITE and SI as they were awakening, but I didn't as they strengthened and awoken. But I didn't talk about SE. I did on another video though. But like I've said, nature, your appreciation for nature like increases. Like you understand the majestic, you know, you understand it. Earth, you don't look at nature the same. At least with me. Like I love the rain. I love rain. I love like everything about nature. Like I could watch a bird fly overhead and just watch it fly overhead for 5, 6, 7 seconds as if I've never seen a bird ever in my life. And it's like double the feeling when the flying V, if they're in a flying V, it's like wow, I've never seen like the majestic, the 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 animals being that in sync with one another, how their minds would work together instinctually to make that V. Like I've never, looked at or thought of, you know, the that aspect of the flying V ever in my life. That's NE's fault or NE's strengthening. Like my NE is like a satellite. It's like kind of like when you're doing the radio station back in the day, and you have to adjust it, and it made that weird sound as to try to get the like my NE's frequency is turned up like a lot to where it reach it. Wi-Fi past the clouds, past space, past the far reaches of outer space, the black holes in the galaxy, light years away to heaven. This is how I get some of the insights I get. And I just get, and that's where the term download comes from. When we're talking about the spiritual aspect, this is what gives us our downloads, acting as a satellite. Let me see if I can spell it better now. I think it's two L's. If not, sue me. Um, yeah, that's where they come from. And like I said, back to the Anima. That's it. You are in love with you in every sense of the word, with yourself. There's a TED Talks. There's a TED Talks um, I guess, conference or lecture that someone gave about their life. Awesome, awesome young lady. And she said she figured she had been through a couple of marriages and divorces. And she said at the end, she had finally realized that she was seeking validation from everywhere else, from the place where she truly should have been looking for it and getting it from in the first place, herself. So she said she learned to and married herself. Now, I would say that it's some form of this. And I'll put the episode in the description. Hopefully, I remember to do it, but I'll put it in there. Or in the description of this video. I'll put it in there. But yes, that there's nothing more to say. Like I'll tell you, it's like now it's like I said, these guys they kind of start creeping up here and showing up in different places. Cause like right now, I can tell you, you have to understand, your shadow has been dormant for ages, depending on how old you are. And now that you've integrated with it, it sees the light of day. So essentially, they're not going to want to stay down here. They're going to want to see the light of day. So essentially, in some shape or form, it kind of turns into this a little bit at my level. Some form of this. I mean, if you get what I'm saying. So, and it definitely feels that way. It definitely feels that way. It definitely feels that way because this is making me more, well, I'm crossing it out, but I'm trying to kind of make a point with it. But this is making me more social. And I mean, what can I say about FI? I mean, I don't know if I went through it, but my FI is an animal all in itself. I even put a video of what it's like during the dark night of the soul, like the immense emotional turmoil and anguish you go through, the mental torture that you go through during a dark night of the soul. It is immense. And I'll say this, if you have not contemplated suicide, it is not the dark night of the soul. If you have not contemplated suicide more than once, it is not the dark night of the soul. A real life example of me. I remember at one point, now I'm 43 years old. I'm 43 years old. Never thought about suicide, never thought about anything, ever anything remotely close to that in the previous 43 years of my life. Then, October 2022, around that time, November, I'm like, wow, if I remember, this is word for word. I remember thinking this. If this is if this is a quarter of what, people that are going through mental stress and the mental issues or suicidal, people, if this is 25% of what they go through, I can understand why they do it. I can understand why, because this is crazy. This is crazy. I used to lay down and be in bed, and I was just petrified. I could not sleep. I would stare at the bedroom door, petrified that like SWAT was gonna come in and just like spray me with bullets. I was literally petrified. 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 I mean, I would stay awake like 3, 4, 5, 6 hours staring at the door. That's a preview, that's kind of what it was like. An example, one small example of one something I went through during the dark night of the soul. Like I said, if you're not contemplating suicide, it's not the dark night of the soul. I assure you, because you do a 1080 during the dark night of the soul, not a 180 or a 360. This is what you do. And I know people, I know spiritually awakened people when I see them because I know this. I know this when I see it. I know that. So I'm going to try to take the last 2 minutes and sum this up. Um, I may have to do another video. I didn't want to. Let's see. Um, okay, so I'm going to take this off. I may have to do another one. Um, yeah, it's going to take me 2 minutes to do this. Um, but yeah, essentially, yeah, you're in love with yourself in every sense of the word. I've said this, but I mean, there's just nothing more to say. I mean, we get our intuition. Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna have enough time. Intuition, um, sensitivity, and the thing is with women, it's assertiveness, it's logical thinking, stuff like that. With the animus.